Go ahead and get started. All right, good evening. We're going to start the public power hour, and just a little bit about what this is and what it is not. As you can see, the only folks in this room are our council and Jamie Paul, our city clerk. This is really nothing more than an opportunity for us to listen to any issues from citizens. We don't vote on anything. This is not officially a meeting, so no decisions will be made. But this is an opportunity for folks to let us be aware of things maybe we don't know, and from there, collectively, we can, if we need to proceed forward with our staff looking into something, we'll do that. So at this point, we're going to go first. I'm going to ask Jennifer James if you would come down, please. And if you don't mind, if you'll speak in the microphone, and even though I've said your name, if you don't mind, say your name and your address for the record, please. And then I'm going to give you about 5 minutes. Right now, I don't know if our other person's here, so I may give you a little bit more flexibility. We'll just have to see. But why don't you go ahead?
My name is Jennifer James, and I live at 708 Carolina Avenue. And thank you, Mayor Williams and Council, for your time today. Is the presentation available?
Yeah, we got it.
Oh,
we got it.
Okay.
Yep,
okay.
Just talk. We all got it.
Okay. So quickly, I won't take up much of your time. So we purchased 708 Carolina Avenue in June of 2021. And you can see those first pictures of what the house looked like. You can see the city property, what it looked like. You couldn't even see that house from the street. I actually lived in North Augusta and never even knew it was there before we bought it.
You're on that back side of kind of where the road comes through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as soon as you turn on Carolina to the left, you can actually see it now. So the next slide is where we are at this point with the house. We have done approximately 95% completion interior, 75% exterior. Exterior landscaping is still in progress. We've installed a pool. We plan on a pool house, a period-style carport, and a covered area. So those are our future plans. And the next slide, you'll see some photos of what the city property looks like and our easement. So when we first bought the property, actually before we went to closing, our attorney reached out to Kelly Zier to grant us easement because we didn't have it. The property was the same as it was when it was built in 1902. There was no access. And as a matter of fact, I questioned the other side of Georgia Avenue because it has an alley similar, and neither of us had access rights. So that was a good thing, and thank you guys for doing that. Appreciate it. So we initially cleaned the city property because it was just so overgrown, weeds growing up in the crepe myrtles, just out of control. So we did that, and then we had a drainage issue happening from the daycare. The parking lot they built was, I don't know if it was built improperly or what, but the runoff comes directly to our yard, our street, our house. So we spoke with someone in the city. They came out, put a speed bump in our alley, and built a little rock runoff. And that's worked, but it's now like a mess. And we've been told we are not supposed to maintain that city property. And I will honestly admit that we do still trim the bushes and weed eat and get the weeds at least right there that we can see. Just because we don't want it to ever get as bad as it was when we bought the property. So the road is in desperate need of repair. It could stand to be repaved because the water has, you know how water erodes in a asphalt driveway. It's really deteriorated. The mulching, it's just limbs and old leaves, and there's no real mulch. The weeds are growing. The trees aren't trimmed. They do cut the grass. But as you can see, there's no sprinkler system over there, so the grass doesn't really grow very well. And then just some additional landscapes. It's pretty sparse and just random bushes, and you can see on the next page. So this is what it looks like in front of our house. And if you go to the next page, that's what it looks like across the street and across Georgia. And leaving Riverview, I saw that even mulch was at the stop sign at Riverview. And I thought, oh gosh, if they can have mulch, maybe we can have mulch. So, and we did speak with the, I guess the city landscaper or landscape architect, Roy Kibler, and the assistant administrator a little over 2 years ago. And they assured us that it would be something that went into the budget and that a year from now it would look great. Well, we waited and waited, and it still looks exactly the same. So I come to you for your consideration. I just was trying to think of what kind of options were feasible, and I don't even know if this is. So first being if it's possible to purchase. You can see I have a picture with just the property, not including any further than where the driveway goes and in front of that. It's approximately 0.23 acre, and it would be, not obviously it's not buildable and would maintain it as a park setting. I just would like it to beautify it to look like everything else around us. We've worked really hard on this house, and we want even the property in front of it to look just as nice as it possibly can. And then the other option, improved or regular maintenance, including the city landscape architect to include us in a design plan of some sort if the property can't be sold.
Let me ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
So your house was, I think you mentioned, I want to make sure, is that those properties that we approved access to, we did that about
2
18
years.
months ago.
It's
2
been a
years
while.
ago.
Yeah.
All right. That was part of that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So a couple things. This is really good information that we'll just need to go back and look at it. I'm surprised just because I don't know why, if we own that property in front of you, I just, as much as good as we keep everything looking, that just seems real odd to me. I can't answer that. It just seems, that's odd to me. So we need to find that.
I agree.
And then the other thing is, I will tell you, and I don't even know what that road, I don't even know what we call that, but I will tell you, we have there, I don't even know what we call that road.
It's
just
has
like
no name. And
it's like just old, yeah.
well,
So I know there is a list of roads like this that Tom Zeeser has put into the capital project sales tax. And there's a number of roads, quite frankly, because of the way things did with the public safety headquarters, that they got pushed away. So what I'm saying is, I think you've got some valid points here. I can't respond more than this, but I think it's worth us looking into. I just don't understand why we aren't keeping the property. That just seems real odd to me because I don't see it anywhere else. So I appreciate you bringing my attention. I don't know, council, you got any questions?
no, well, I've done work on TJ and Jennifer's house. I've known them for years.
Yeah. Oh,
And TJ, you did a great job on it. But yes, TJ called me, I guess it's been about a year ago, about the washing issue. Yes, when they, put the parking lot in on the backside of the old daycare for the whatever that is. It literally was washing out underneath the asphalt. And, our temporary solution was, okay, I guess put the speed bump and divert it, and they put the rocks and all. I did see that. And also, the landscaping, when they first bought it, nothing was kept up there. So I've seen it already, and I know we talked about it, and I know TJ called me about possibly selling it, and I think that's when I put y'all in touch with Rachel, but unfortunately she's gone now, so something got happen right then.
I don't know if we're open to that, but the bottom line is
Right.
we have city property that's not being taken care of. So anyway, we'll do our homework on this.
Okay, I appreciate it. And just FYI, that driveway is only our drive. I mean, I know it's not a driveway, but we call it our driveway.
We
But
don't know
there's
what they call it.
there's no other.
The old driveway.
No one else uses it.
Yeah,
There's
no,
no other
I know,
property.
yeah. I mean,
It's like
you're
the
getting back
thing
there.
Kelly brought up, because there's one on the other
Yeah,
side.
on the other side too. I know.
We don't know what it is, or I guess technically it's ours.
Okay.
Thank you.
We got some
I
homework.
appreciate your
Thank
time.
you. Appreciate that. All right, that's crazy. Okay. The only other person that's on here, and I do not know if she's here, is I hope to say Danita White. Is Miss White there? Oh, hey, yes. Yes, if you would, I'm gonna tell you what I need you to do. Come up the front here where the microphone is. If you would state your name and address for the record, and I need you to, because you're taller, I need you to kind of bend down in the microphone so everybody on TV can listen to you.
Yes, sir. My name is Danita White. My address when I'm here in South Carolina is 432 Carpentersville Road.
Okay.
I'm fifth generation, born in Carpentersville. And if you don't know where Carpentersville is, it's the same road as the Hamburg plant, or behind the old Kmart, as I call it. I own 6 lots there at their air property, and we plan to build small houses. But I was told that tomorrow on the schedule for the variance meeting would be the redevelopment of the old antique mall.
Okay.
And that includes blocking off a lot of egresses that we've used for decades. One includes that of coming off of Jefferson Davis to the back to Hamburg. And my concern, first and foremost, is when you close that off, you lead to a choke point right at the top of Hamburg, and it really concerns me. I appreciate, and I want to say first and foremost that I respect the owner's rights, right? Because it's not our property. But I'm asking for your help because we're kind of in a gray area. Carpentersville is unincorporated. One of my lots is in the city. My other 5 lots are in the county. It's considered Aiken County, but this lot in particular is in the city. So it's really confusing, and I'm not really sure where I'm supposed to go for the help that I need. Carpentersville consists of Carpentersville Road, which is maintained by Aiken County, and Hamburg Road, which is South Carolina DOT. So when you close off that road to Hamburg, it's not just the community that would affect. Hamburg plant is in the back. They have vendors, they have employees, they have huge trucks. Then we're talking also about the impact of the auto auction, and of course, our beautiful church that's in the community. And I'm coming here today because I really am at a loss on how to make sure the community is safe. I, even this morning, just watched police officers utilizing that turn into that space, right? So what happens with emergency services? Are we putting people at risk? Is there another alternative route? Like, all of those questions are a concern for me, Mr. Mayor, and I don't know if that's something that you can help me on.
Great question. I appreciate you coming forward. I'm very familiar with what you're talking about. As a matter of fact, I rode by there today and entered the back entrance. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay.
The back entrance we're not supposed to.
Yes, I know exactly where you are. I know exactly what you're talking about. A lot of Carpentersville is in the city, but so here's the thing. Unfortunately, we are not the body that can help you with that. Here's what I recommend you do. I don't know if you're available. Are you in town tomorrow?
I'm going to stay tomorrow for the variance meeting.
So what I need you to do, I would do 2 things. If you want, because I can tell you articulate yourself very well.
Yes, sir.
So I would tell you to do 2 things. If you don't mind, write up some bullet points, some key points that you've shared with us. If you send that to our planning director, Tommy Paradise, by noon tomorrow, and Jamie can give you that, we can get you that information. That'll be good. And the second thing is you need to be at the BZA tomorrow night, and you'll have, and you need to, there should be an opportunity for you to speak on that. But regardless, you need to take what you just told us, you articulated very well, put that in an email and send that to Tommy Paradise. We need to get that on the record.
Yes.
Okay. But that will be that will be the area that will make that decision. So they're the ones that need to hear. Unfortunately, that doesn't fall under our privy.
Secondarily, have you ever given any thought to Carpentersville being a part of the city of North Augusta family holistically?
You know, when if I pull up on the city GIS, there's a lot of there's a number of lots that are in the city.
Yes, sir. We have to
Okay.
annex. It was
Yeah.
4 of us, I think, that are annexed
So
into the city.
we have a lot of, North Augusta is a really odd shaped community. We have a ton of donut holes. We really do. And what you're talking about is one of them.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So normally I will tell you, at least for the last couple of years, our take with annexation in general have been if the property owners are coming to us to ask us for annexation, but we historically are not necessarily just annexing property to annex property.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I couldn't answer that question,
Yes,
but yeah, I'm trying to think. We have probably annexed, for example, if you're going down Buena Vista, when the road curves right there by the BTC,
Yes.
those 3 properties right there were in the county. They asked for us to annex them in, and it fit well. So we're all about filling donut holes.
Yes, sir.
So, but we'll look into that. But the key question for you is, I need you to get that to Tommy Paradise. You already given it information? Yeah. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you
luck
very
tomorrow.
much.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Danita. Okay. All right. We've got I don't know, anyone else has come here. Only Jamie's no one else here. I think everybody else is here for the 6 o'clock our city council meeting. So we're almost at 5:46. So I think what I'm going to do. Yeah, that gentleman's not waiting. So are you here for 6 o'clock, or do you need to talk to the public power hour? The young man right there. Turn around. You're just here to listen. Okay, good. Okay. All right. All right. Thank y'all. It's hot in here. Is it hot in here or just me? Is it just me? Okay. All right. All right. We're going to, I don't see anyone else, and we're going to close out the public power hour. Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call the City of North Augusta City Council meeting for June the 3rd, 2024 to order. Great to see everybody here. Thank you for being here tonight. You are welcome to join me in prayer. Dear God, I ask your guidance as we discuss the business of the city. I ask for your discernment as we make decisions that impact our community. I ask that you continue to open our hearts and minds to what is shared tonight. We know that if the Lord delights in a man's way, he makes his steps firm. We ask for continued blessing for the city of North Augusta. Amen. If you're able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, we're going to start roll call from my left.
Eric Presnell.
David McGee.
Pat Carpenter.
Britton Williams.
David Buck. Kevin Toole.
Okay, item 4, approval of minutes. Are there any corrections, deletions, or additions to the regular city council meeting minutes of May the 20th, 2024, or the special call study session minutes of May the 28th, 2024? Okay, hearing none, they stand approved as distributed. Thank you. Okay, we've got a couple of proclamations. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to ask Ms. Carolyn Dixon to come forward and meet me in front of the dais, and then after that we'll do Elizabeth Hawkins. But anyway. You're becoming a regular. How you doing? Good. Yeah, we like to have you here. All right, so proclamation. Whereas gardeners have a passion for nurturing the beauty and resources of the earth through the planting of seeds, the care of all plants, and the riches of their efforts, and whereas gardeners work to preserve our country's traditional spirit of independence and initiatives through innovation, hard work, and whereas gardeners advocate the importance of all creatures showing our world in their roles in a balanced and productive ecology, and whereas gardening serves as a challenging, that's true, isn't it, and productive activity for all citizens, those just learning as well as those having years of experience, and whereas gardening promotes a healthy lifestyle that lasts a lifetime, helps reduce stress from other areas of our life, and teaches that rewards come from diligent efforts, and whereas the North Augusta Council of Garden Clubs, the best around, enriches our city by maintaining Billy's Butterfly Garden, providing a scholarship for North Augusta High School senior, and sponsoring campers for Camp Wildwood. Now, therefore, I, Britton S. Williams, Mayor of the City of North Augusta, South Carolina, do hereby proclaim the week of June the 2nd through 8th, 2024 as National Garden Week. Witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of North Augusta, South Carolina to be affixed this 3rd day of June, 2024. Thank you for everything y'all do. Fantastic. Now, I know you got another presentation, and I just want to, I've written you a note, but I want to personally thank you for the surprise for what you gave me with the certificate and the plaque. It's in my office. But you finally got it right with the guy that's coming up next, because he deserves this. So, Mr. Roy Kilber, get on down here, man. When I say Roy's the man, he really is. He knows what it is. So I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna hold this so you can do your thing.
As you all know, Roy is the superintendent of property maintenance for North Augusta and a certified arborist. He's the designer of the Billy's Butterfly Garden on the Greenway and has assisted the North Augusta Council of Garden Clubs to provide maintenance of the Butterfly Garden since its creation. On behalf of the North Augusta Council of Garden Clubs, I would like to award you with a lifetime membership in the Garden Club of South Carolina. Thank you, Roy, for all you do to make North Augusta a better place to live. And this has your membership pin and the card and whatever. And then you just little funky note. Because we messed up before.
Get next to Carolyn, because Jean wants to get a picture. She's been working on this all week for this angle. All right. Roy, anything you'd like to say, sir?
I just want to appreciate. Oh, thank you. I just want to appreciate and thank all the Garden Club members and everything that y'all do for the to keep Billy's Butterfly Garden as weed free as we can. I know it's a challenge, but I do certainly appreciate it because it's something that we just can't continue to be down there and weed all the time. And you guys do a lot of extra work, and we appreciate it. And I know a lot of patrons. Everybody that visits down there enjoy it tremendously. So thank you for all your work.
Every time we call, you're Johnny on the spot. So
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Roy. Thank you, Carolyn, so much. Is Elizabeth here? She looks. No, Elizabeth Hawkins. I know that Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
I know what that Elizabeth looks like. I know Elizabeth.
Mayor Williams. Elizabeth. I asked Elizabeth Hawkins' mother because she wasn't here last year. No, she's not here.
Okay.
But either she's in school or working, that's why she can't come.
Yeah, because I remember she normally comes, and I didn't see her. So, what am I doing taking? Feel like I'm in the round. Elizabeth's the one. She goes to Clemson, right? She's at Clemson. Yeah. Elizabeth came to us 3 years ago, and just great young lady, and spearheaded a lot of awareness of scoliosis at Clemson, the organization. So anyway, this is a proclamation. I'll just read it. Whereas scoliosis, the abnormal curvature of the spine, is a condition which affects the estimated 6 to 9 million people in the United States. And whereas primary onset of scoliosis is between ages 10 to 15, with females being 5 times more likely to require treatment, and scoliosis can cause pain, reduced respiratory function, and limited mobility in otherwise healthy children. And approximately 1 in 6 children diagnosed with this disease will eventually require active medical treatment. Whereas screening programs allow for early detection for treatment opportunities which may alleviate the worst effects of the condition, which has no known cause or cure. And whereas raising public awareness of scoliosis is vital, helping children, parents, and healthcare providers understand, diagnose, and treat this disease and reduce the pain and suffering of those it affects. Now, therefore, I, Britton S. Williams, Mayor of the City of North Augusta, South Carolina, do hereby claim June 2024 Scoliosis Early Detection Awareness Month. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of North Augusta, South Carolina, to be affixed the 3rd day of June 2024. Elizabeth, thank you for all you're doing. I really appreciate your awareness. You did a great job with that. So anyway, we'll get that to her. Okay. All right, we're going to move into new business. Item 6, Planning and Development, Ordinance Number 2024-09, amending Article 5, Use and Use Conditions of the North Augusta Development Code, Chapter 18 of the City of North Augusta, South Carolina Code of Ordinances. On first reading, do I have a motion to approve this ordinance on first reading? Okay, Mr. Presnell, is there a second? Mr. McGee, thank you. Anything you'd like to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
Well, this was definitely the subject of a robust discussion last week, and so the staff recommendation remains moving forward with this ordinance for the first reading and allow for the planning department to look at some of the aspects of height, which was one of the key areas based on the council discussion. So that would be a subsequent action that would have to come to the council for consideration, but the staff still recognizes that we have to make a change or recommends making a change to the Article 5, and so our request is for the council to consider that action tonight.
Okay, very good. Okay, all right. Are there any citizen comments? Come on down, Mr. Fletcher. Raise your hand. I can't get you down here. Richard, it's not your first rodeo. If you don't mind, state your name and address for the record, please.
Richard Fletcher, 1 Shadowmore Court, North Augusta. I really didn't have any prepared remarks tonight, but I am a bit concerned about a couple of things. I believe as it's drafted tonight, there's a prohibition, if you will, on, I believe it's termed multifamily dwelling. I'm not sure I know exactly what that is. If it's not, purely more than one dwelling attached, maybe. I would construe that to cover things like apartment flats, like you've had an apartment building, let's say 2 to 10, I think we have some 10-story apartment buildings in Augusta. So those would be examples of perhaps multifamily dwellings that are covered under the proposed ordinance. And it says, and I don't have it committed to memory, but I believe it says that those would not be permitted in the downtown mixed-use 1 district. In my opinion, that's a mistake. I think we want more people living downtown. We want more people available to support restaurants and shops and to actually create some semblance of a downtown district where now we have what I would describe as sort of the remnants of a village that used to be here 100 years ago, but we don't have a downtown in its truest sense. Augusta has done, I think if you walk Broad Street, you'd see a pretty good example of what a downtown is. You've got buildings ranging from, there may be a 1-story leftover gas station converted to a pizza joint, converted to something else. There's a few of those, but by and large, 2 stories is kind of the minimum, and they go up to, I think, First Union, now Augusta University. I think that building is 15 or 16 floors. So that would be my first concern. The second one I expressed to you in an email about the height consideration. Previously in our development code passed in 2007 or adopted in 2007, in the downtown district, overlay district, there was no height limit. You could build as high as you wanted to. The only restriction on height was something called a floor area ratio. But even that didn't limit height, because if you build with a floor area ratio of 15, you could build on half of your property and build a 30-story building and comply. So we're going from unlimited, perhaps, I guess by right of the code, we're going from a floor area ratio of 15 down to what practically would be either 2 or 3, because we're limiting height to 35 feet in the Georgia Avenue zone, which makes no sense to me. I don't get that. I think a downtown wants to be as high as it can be. Evans Town Center has no height limit on their building. Augusta's downtown on Broad Street, that district is 165 feet. City of Aiken, in their very beautiful and historic, charming downtown, is 55 feet. And the town of Edgefield allows 4 stories and 50 feet. So I would say when it comes to the height question, please aim high, and please let's have more people living downtown. And I thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, Richard. Appreciate it. Okay. Any council discussion?
Yes, I sort of agree. One thing Richard brought up is we have talked about we want people downtown. And how will we do that if we just have all businesses? I worried about, I talked to Tommy, I worry about this, that there's no living. Once you shut your doors, it's shut down. So I am concerned, on some of this too myself.
Well, and there again, that's why Tommy's going to come back to us with analysis on the height, because I think we all agree that's something we need to look at. And also, I think, Kevin, you can jump in, made a good point about, so I think Richard's concerns for the most part, I think we discussed that at the study session. I think probably a lot of agreement, so I don't think we're way off there. I think we just need to understand it a little better.
But there will be no apartments or single family living
Not
in downtown.
not entirely, because it does allow residential over commercial,
Oh,
and I think that's
other than
something.
that, yeah.
I'm, as I even mentioned in the meeting last week, I still feel like that's too restrictive. I just don't, I just don't know how, because I think, to Mr. Fletcher's point, that multifamily that's a big term, right? And maybe there is a legal definition, Kelly. I defer to you. I don't know if there's a legal definition, but to me, I think it would encompass both hotels, larger townhome or flat type developments, condos, those sorts of things. And, while I'm somewhat libertarian in my view on how somebody uses their property, I don't really necessarily in the downtown 1 district would not necessarily want to encourage hotel development or apartment development, but would maybe want to figure out a way to offer some townhome or that sort of stuff. And I don't know how you do that.
Right.
With having that multifamily designation sort of encompassing all of it. So that's something I would like for planning to look at and see. But I concur with most of the points brought up that, there needs to be a balance. But just to that point, Pat, it does allow some residential. It just has to be over commercial as to what's being left into the code. I still feel that's too restrictive.
Yeah. But years ago, we had my daddy and y'all remember this family, the Box family. They lived right there where Gary's is. It was a big, huge 2-story. You had Davenport's where McNeely's is. All those were single family living in downtown North Augusta.
I will say, I said this last, so I said just as a counterpoint, is I do think we're a little unusual in the fact that a lot of communities that, all you got to do is go a block off Georgia Avenue. There's a lot of houses. So it's not like, Greenville had to build apartments because it was so commercially dense. So we do have residential, but again, I think we're on the same page that, what our plan department is going to do, plan director is going to relook at that. So I think we're in agreement.
If we vote for this, what does that mean? I'm hesitant about voting for it.
Well, my understanding is what we are doing here, this is already what is in the code, but it's reversed. What is in the downtown 1 was supposed to be in downtown 2. And all we're doing here is putting it back in the form that it was intended to be when the original development code was passed. And now I think what you've brought up is why we say, let's go ahead and get this the way it should have been. And now you're looking at some other areas of change. And in order to do that, whatever you do, you've got to put together, go back through the planning commission. And we just felt like it was best to get this corrected at this point and then determine what changes you want to make to that. But in my understanding is you're not creating either one of these divisions. You're just moving them from where they are, that you're getting them to where they were intended to be originally.
Right here, DT 1 and 2 were putting incorrect columns, so we're just adjusting that.
So, but we can go back and say, let's just say Carpenter's Tire and Auto, I'll use our business, that if a few years, could we sell and build like a 35-foot building apartment there or not?
Well,
would that ever be?
I've got to look at that and see, but what I'm saying is council hereafter can go back and make whatever changes they want in those areas whatsoever. I would imagine we've got a definition for multifamily or whatever within the development code. I'll have to go back and see. And if they don't, you all can define it. You can put that in there as a definition.
But I'm like Kevin, and I always have this feeling that do we tell people what they can do with their own property? I don't think that's fair.
That's what zoning is.
It is. That's what fair. Maybe zoning's not fair then.
But just go out the Belvedere, Pat. Just go outside North Augusta and you see what happens when you do that.
Yeah, but
Yellow Building. So again,
I don't know.
I think let's just stay focused what we're trying to do. This is a text amendment to, I think Kelly just said it, we're just getting it correct. And then I think we've been in agreement, Pat, we all said at study session,
Right.
we think there are some things that need to be adjusted in our code. And I think we need, what I'm hearing is we need a deeper dive into understanding specifically what we do and don't want in downtown one. And that's the planning director's job to prepare that.
So will that people like individually come here or and say, I want this, and we have to go back and read? I mean, I don't understand. If we vote on this, but then if something turns up, when will that turn up? How, I mean, like, I hate to say what we did, what,
Yeah, but we can always make votes to change things as well.
do what?
I said that we can always vote to change things. I mean,
Yeah, I know, but when will it come up?
We
told.
told.
It might sit here for the next 50 years and nothing ever happens.
Pat, we haven't done that, anything like that in the last 3 years. So we have told Tommy that it is a priority for him to do that. He's not going to do it in 2 weeks because we have a lot of other stuff, but somewhere in the next month or 2 months, I would think we would have a study session for that. That's what we told him.
And, a lot of that's going to be
So we have not let stuff just dial them for a long time.
Well, and a lot of
We're
that's
not
going to be to Kevin's point, free market. I mean, I don't know what people want to build, and I understand kind of the same thing. It's like we don't want to make it too harsh, but this is pretty much just the area, if I recall correctly, around West Avenue and East Avenue. The downtown one is the one we're talking about,
George Avenue,
and that's what Tommy is doing. And I think that's what, to your point, Pat, what we're voting on is the two, which would be West Avenue. And again, I don't know.
We're doing 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly what we discussed last week. So we've already, he's going to be moving on it quickly. I mean, not going to be a very long time, but.
I would think in the next
Well, I
3 or 4 study sessions,
don't want
we
us
would have
to
this
be
back.
like on some things. We vote on it today, and 20 years from now, we come back. What in the name of the world did we vote on that for? But I mean, I just don't want it to never be looked at again until somebody's getting ready to beat us up. Okay.
Pat, all I can tell you is I'm not going to let that happen. I haven't let it happen yet. I'm not going to let it happen in the next 18 months. I haven't been let in 3 years. All right, thank you. I appreciate it. All right, any other council discussion? Good stuff. All right, hearing none, I'm going to ask for a vote. All in favor? That's unanimous. Very good, thank you. All right. Item 7, plan development ordinance number 2024-10 to change the corporate limits of the city of North Augusta by accepting the petition requesting annexation by the landowners and annexing plus or minus 3.65 acres of property located on a land-backed way and owned by 4-CO LLC. First reading. Do you have a motion to approve this ordinance on first reading?
So moved.
All right, Mr. Buck, thank you. Second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Toole, appreciate it. Anything you'd like to share about this, Mr. Clifford?
So Mayor and Council, what I'd like to do is highlight the fact that these next 2 actions for council consideration are linked. So ordinance number 2024-10 and 2024-11 are concerning the same development. So I'll go through my comments here for both now. And so what you have first is a request for annexation, and to orient you to the map that's in your packet. This is just south of Fire Station 3 off Belvedere Clearwater Road. And so you can see those properties right from 520 as you're looking to your left as you're heading northbound. And so these are coming in as R14 lots, large lots, and there are 4 separate parcels ranging in size from 0.88 acres to 0.99 acres. So just under an acre for all 4 of those lots, and those are requesting to come in for annexation. And then the next ordinance you have is to zone those to R14 single family, which again, not seeing a lot of requests for large lot single family. That's a good spot for us to have those go in there. The staff is of the opinion this would be a good project for the city. And so our recommendation is to move forward with these 2 actions to allow them to come into the city limits.
Very good. Any citizen comments? Any council discussion?
Yep.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry.
Okay.
Who did you say owned that property?
a company. Ivy is a commercial company, IVCO LLC. I don't know who the individual is.
Oh, you didn't say, okay. What was you remember the group that came to us forward? And they withdrew? That's not the same
It's
property.
different.
Okay,
That's
I
coming
got you.
up for the
All right, I
study
just want to be
session
sure,
next
because
week.
I know those people are highly against that.
That's the study
So when it-
session.
okay.
That's our study section. I've been.
Because I wanted to be sure they were here
Oh, you
when we
were.
discuss it.
Trust me, we gotta go.
We have not received, Councilwoman, at least I haven't received any negative feedback from petitions or citizens that are in that area that are concerned about this particular development. So I understand your point about the Escaga Lake Road development, also called the Ford Tract. And as the mayor highlighted, that will be the subject of the study session coming up here next month, or actually later this month.
June the 10th. Yeah. Got it. All right. Any other council discussion? All right. Here now, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. And then item number 8, planning and development, ordinance number 2024-11 to amend the zoning map of the city of North Augusta, South Carolina by rezoning plus or minus 3.65 acres of land owned by IV Company, Aiken County tax parcel number 012-11-14-001 from P public use to R14 single family large lot. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance on first reading?
So moved.
All right, Mr. Buck, thank you. Is there a second? All right, Mr. Presnell. Ms. Clifford's already talked about that. Any citizen comments? I would not think so. So now, any council discussion? We're good. Okay. I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? And that's unanimous again. Thank you very much. Okay, item 9, Parks and Recreation, ordinance number 2024-12, authorizing a restructuring of personnel for the Department of Parks and Recreation. Do you have a motion to approve this ordinance on first reading? All right, Mr. Presnell, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, that's Mr. Buck. And we discussed this in the study session, but Mr. Clifford, anything you want to add to it and refresh people on TV?
Mr. Mayor, no new information, but again, just to highlight for our citizens what we're attempting to do here is the reason why this is before you as an ordinance is because the budget is passed as an ordinance. So changes to the budget that are structural in nature require this 2 reading as far as our organizational chart. So we have 2 separate actions here. This first one, which is strictly concerning Parks and Recreation, is taking 2 part-time positions and merging those into 1 full-time position. And that is essentially a flex position, although the primary focus of this is for weekend coverage, although it can move into weekdays, depending as the director sees fit. And so this is a revenue neutral decision in this year. We'll have a slight increase on the budget next year, but this was based on our viewing of how hard it is to fill some of those part-time positions, and also make sure that we have somebody who's a little more senior as we're dealing with a number of our Parks and Rec patrons over the weekend time frame. So this came to us from Rick Meyer, Parks and Rec Director, Assistant City Administrator Macaulay. Believes this is a good change, and I do as well. And so our request is that you would allow us to combine 2 part-time positions into 1 full-time position.
Thank you. Are there any citizen comments? Okay, any council discussion? Okay, here now I'll ask for a vote. All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you very much. And then item 10, Finance, ordinance number 2024-13, authorizing a restructuring of personnel for the Departments of Public Services and Public Works. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance on first reading?
So moved.
Mr. Toole, is there a second? All right, Ms. Carpenter, thank you. Ms. Clifford?
So much like the previous request, what you have here is 2 different departments, Finance Department and Public Works Department. Both are authorized part-time employees. One of those positions is filled currently in Public Works. The Finance part-time position is not filled, and they've had some difficulties in filling that because of the nature of the work as far as the time requirements for the job, because they tend to move around a little bit. So ultimately, the Finance Director and the Public Works Director came to an agreement and determined that the part-time employee that works in Public Works who desires to work full-time would be best served as a full-time employee, and allow those directors to work out the work hours associated with the duties, understanding that some of those key functions transit both between business licensing and finance. So it's an easy transition to make as we add some of those duties. So again, this came to us both from Tom Zeser and Linda Williamson as far as this request. I believe this is a good update and change, and so our request then is to combine 2 part-time positions into a full-time position. Much like Parks and Rec, this is a revenue neutral request for this fiscal year with a slight increase into the next fiscal year.
Okay, very good. Any citizen comments? All right, any council discussion? Here now, ask for a vote. All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, any administrative reports?
Sir, I have none.
Okay. This is item 12, presentations, communications, and recognition of visitors. This is the opportunity for citizens may speak to mayor and council regarding any matters not listed on this agenda. Is there anything anybody out there is interested in speaking to us about? All right, so I've got about 3 things to highlight, but I'm going to let Ms. Pat go first because she
I'm
got a
itching
big
over
write-up. I was going to do it in case you didn't say it, so you go for
This is
it.
simple for us inquiry
one.
minds. The little house up on George Avenue, and I don't know if that's Summit, Woodlawn, or Arrington, had the rezoning sign. So what would that one piece of property be rezoning?
Where is that?
It's right there on Georgia Avenue, and it might be,
No, but where on Georgia?
huh?
It's a big road. Where?
Well, like I said, it's on the corner of Summit, Arlington, and Woodlawn. I don't know which street that is, but it's, 4 blocks down from the red light marked there. But it's that one house.
Yeah.
You what
Yeah.
now? Yeah.
Oh, I know.
No, on the right.
That's BZA. They're looking to. It's in the BZA tomorrow night. They're looking to. When I looked at it, something to do with they're adding a porch cover. There's some issue with the property, so that's going to BZA. So that's not us. That's BZA. BZA's got about 8 names. Yeah. Okay. All right. Jameson's out. All right. So, okay, you want to tell about the snow cap? That's why I was trying to give you a chance.
All right. Up here we have Jamie Paul, David McGee, David Buck, Kayla Ferguson, JD too?
Yeah.
Oh, JD. We're all going to be at the snow cap tomorrow evening from 5 to 8, waitressing and waiters. So we would invite everybody to please come during those hours. Now, the proceeds and our tips do not go to us. They will go to a children's place in Aiken. And you might wonder, well, why are we doing Aiken? Because a lot of the children in North Augusta goes to that facility. And they come by bus and pick them up and take them back. So this is a wonderful organization. But we're going to have nothing but fun, and we want all the citizens to join us.
All about tipping. Okay.
Yes, it's all about tipping.
All right. Here's a couple things. Put June the 20th at 5:45 on your calendar out there for the ribbon cutting for the downtown Green Area Connector coming up Bluff Avenue. That'll be the corner of West and Bluff. So that'll be June the 20th. I want to go ahead and let everybody know about June the 25th is going to be our first, we're going to call it the community engagement event. We're going to be having it at the Fellowship Hall at Second Providence. Think of it kind of like when we used to do the mayor's, I don't know what we call it, 2.0, basically meet the mayor. But what we're going to do is we're going to have, it's kind of genesis behind this was when Jim Clifford, as administrator, did a presentation at the Chamber of Commerce. He really talked and showed a lot of things that we don't handle here behind the scenes about what's happening in the city. And it dawned on me that there's so many of our citizens who have no idea the things that happen. So with that, along with what he sends us on the Friday public, his weekly update, he'll do a portion. We have a new chief of police, so Chief Johnson's going to come. We're going to bring the CAT team. I think it'll be a great opportunity for the community to see what they have to do. I kind of see it also being kind of like a FYI for how to improve things. Like, for example, we've all had situations where people use a third-party vendor to pay their water bill, and They think because they use that third-party vendor, it's the same as coming right here and paying, and there's a delay. So we want to give them some kind of information. And the last thing we'll do is we'll give cards, and that's where Jamie will help us, and we'll take questions, a handful of questions. So the goal would be to do this one. We'll kind of just see how it goes, positive, negative, but I'd love to maybe us try to do a couple of those this year throughout the city. So this has nothing to do with the neighborhood. It's just that's a really nice location. So that'll be coming up. So we'll be sending that on Facebook. Last thing is, Chief, I want to, this came up at the memorial service at the Legion Hut, and I want to brag on our public safety folks. So our firefighter, Brandon Dandy, was recognized by the South Carolina American Legion for his outstanding service at their annual convention, Columbia. He was awarded the South Carolina American Legion's Firefighter of the Year. So great job for him. And then Corporate Waldrop, he's everywhere. I mean, but Corporate Joe Waldrop, he was recognized for the South Carolina American Legion's Law Enforcement Officer of the Year. So at that memorial service was Pat, the Legion Chief, and there was a ton of people that got to hear that. So I just wanted what you're doing at your public safety for our citizens is spot on. We thank you for your leadership and the good things at public safety. So if you know those folks, please let them know how thankful we are because they represent us well. And with that, we stand adjourned. Thank you.